Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nishwa Hassan, student of BS 7th Microbiology, Kohart University of Science and Technology. Today I am going to present the topic which is from a research paper, and it is about critical roles of cyanobacteria as reservoir and source for antibiotic resistant genes. So this is a research paper I'm going to discuss today, and it belongs to a journal, Environment International. So these are the some contents of my presentation. First is introduction, objectives, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion, references, etc. Okay, first is introduction. So what is antibiotic? Antibiotic is a chemical substance produced by a living organism, generally a microorganism that is detrimental to other microorganisms. Means antibiotic inhibit the growth or kill other microorganisms. So its extensive application lead to their ubiquitous presence in aquatic environment. And antibiotics can directly alter microbiota by selecting multi-drug resistant bacteria, and it can also promote the horizontal gene transfer that contributes to the transmission of antibiotic resistance uh, gene via the genetic mobile elements such as plasmids, transposons, and integrons. Uh, Antibiotic resistant genes are considered as emerging environmental pollutants, and they increased morbidity associated with their dissemination has become a great concern of public health on a global scale. So, recent studies have focused on a widespread occurrence of antibiotic resistant genes in diverse aquatic environments under antibiotic pressures, and these surfaces are such as surface water and sediments, sewages, hospital wastewaters, aquaculture discharges, and freshwater biofilms. Antibiotic resistant genes disseminate through two pathways. One is vertical transfer, and it is mainly through bacterial reproduction. And the second one is horizontal transfer, and this occurs through three processes. One is conjugation, transduction, and third one is transformation. Antibiotic resistant genes may be located on chromosomes and on some mobile genetic elements and present in intracellular DNA and extracellular DNA in environment. Intracellular DNA is spread through either conjugation or transduction process. Conjugation is a transfer of mobile genetic elements, and transduction is use of bacteriophages as transporters of genetic information, while extracellular DNA is assimilated by naturally competent bacteria through the process of transformation, which is a uptake of naked DNA from the environment. And conjugation is mainly mediated by conjugated plasmid, which is considered as the principal mode for the dissemination of antibiotic resistant genes among environmental bacteria. And the process of conjugation requires membrane crossing and cell to cell contact between the donor and recipient bacteria. So both extracellular DNA and intracellular DNA can be used for gene transfer and manipulation of cyanobacterial species. So from here, the main topic of this presentation starts, which is about cyanobacterial species. So what are cyanobacteria? Cyanobacteria are the largest group of gram-negative photosynthetic prokaryotes which can prepare their own food. And we will discuss today the role of cyanobacteria as a reservoir and source for antibiotic resistance genes. So increasing frequency of cyanobacterial bloom cause eutrophication, and it has been observed that they can cause turbidity, diminishes water quality, and it can also lead to odors, scums, oxygen depletion, as well as cytotoxin production. Cyanobacteria are more susceptible to antibiotic mode of action than fishes and crustaceans, etc. And this is because of their structure similarity to bacteria. So therefore they are more susceptible to antibiotic mode of action than fishes, crustaceans, etc. Cyanobacteria may harbor antibiotic resistant genes for the following reasons when they are exposed to antibiotic pollution. And these reasons are number one, they contain mobile genetic units such as transposable elements and plasmids for horizontal gene transfer, which is the main mechanism of antibiotic resistant gene propagation among distinct microbiota. Number two, some cyanobacteria strains exhibit antibacterial activity and which can evolve self-protection mechanisms for the mutation and evolution of antibiotic resistant genes. Thirdly, plasmids may determine cyanobacterial resistance to antibiotic. So, as the main vector carrying multiple antibiotic resistant genes like RP4, plasmid play a critical role in mediating the horizontal transfer of DNA into a wide range of gram-negative bacteria, including cyanobacteria, and they are also contributing to the bacterial dissemination of antibiotic resistance genes in the water environment. So now comes toward the objectives of this research. So number one, to identify and quantify the distribution of antibiotic resistant genes in cyanobacteria. Firstly, it has to be identify and quantify that in how much quantity these antibiotic resistant genes are distributed in cyanobacteria. Number two, to investigate the persistence of antibiotic resistant genes in cyanobacterial extracellular DNA and intracellular DNA. So it has to be investigated that what is the persistence of antibiotic resistant genes, either it is more persistent in extracellular DNA or in intracellular DNA of cyanobacteria. Number three, to evaluate the horizontal transferability of antibiotic resistant genes by plasmids between bacteria and cyanobacteria. Okay, now comes toward the methodology. So what materials and methods are used to investigate this study? Number one, study site and sample collection. Number two, DNA extraction and antibiotic resistant genes analysis. Number three, assessment of antibiotic resistant genes distribution in cyanobacteria, associated extracellular DNA and intracellular DNA. Number four, determination of plasmid conjugative frequency. And the last one is statistical analysis. So one by one, we will discuss some of them in a detail. So first one is methodology. From where the sample has been collected. So the sample has been collected from Taihu Lake, which is the third largest freshwater lake in China, and the upstream river network in the northwest part of the Taihu Basin are the most heavily polluted area, and it accounts for 70% of the pollution loads entering the lake. In the recent studies, it has been investigated that excessive anthropogenic nutrient loading from Taihu Basin has caused severe eutrophication and intensive discharges of antibiotic residues from municipal sewage, livestock and poultry breeding wastewaters, aquaculture wastewater, and untreated rural domestic sewage have led to the prevalence and dissemination of multiple antibiotic resistant genes at a basin scale. And the most common antibiotics which were reported in Tahoe Lake were tetracyclines, chlortetracycline, doxycycline, oxytetracycline, and sulfonamide. So here is a one map, and this figure shows sampling sites in the northwest region of the Tahoe Lake basin. So there are some sampling sites which were detected. So what these sampling sites are showing us, that the first two sites, that are U1 and U2, these are located in densely populated urban areas, and these receive domestic sewage discharges. Secondly, R1 and R2, these sampling sites are located in agriculturally influenced rural areas with a significant load of livestock and breeding wastewater. So they are receiving livestock and breeding wastewater. Sites A1 and A2 are located in main inflow tributaries, and it connects Tahoe Lake and the upstream river network. And the last, these two sites, L1 and L2, these are representative cyanobacterial bloom forming areas of Tahoe Lake. So these were the sampling sites from which the sample has been taken, and and research has been conducted from these sites of Tahoe Lake, which is in China. Okay, second one is DNA extraction and antibiotic resistant genes analysis. So 6 classes of antibiotic resistant genes were detected, and these 6 classes were sulfonamide resistant genes, tetracycline resistant genes, macrolide resistant genes, quinolone resistant genes, beta-lactam resistant genes, aminoglycoside resistant genes. Class 1 integrase enzyme was also detected and analyzed during DNA extraction, and 16S ribosomal RNA gene. Okay, now next one is the determination of plasmid conjugative frequency. So to assess the conjugative transfer potential of plasmid to cyanobacteria strains of so cyanobacteria were used as a recipient, and the strain of rifamycin resistance, Escherichia coli K12, were harboring the plasmid RP4 that carried kanamycin resistance, were used as RP4 donor strain. Okay, next are results. So what results we have got? So for this figure shows the spatial temporal distribution of target genes, and this is a heat map, and it is divided into two parts. One is bloom period, and the second one was non-bloom periods, and these are the sampling sites, and these are the genes which were detected. So the 14 genes, including 16 as ribosomal RNA, were detected with relatively high abundance, and the abundance of class 1 integron and sulfonamide tetracycline resistant genes were also detected with higher concentration in bloom period than in non-bloom period. And there is the one panel which is showing the color intensity, this panel which is showing color intensity, and it indicates the log values of gene concentration. Okay, we have in another figure, and this figure reveals the contribution of antibiotic resistant genes from extracellular DNA and intracellular DNA. So here you can see there are two colors. One is black, which is showing extracellular DNA, and the second one is showing intracellular DNA. And here are also two periods which were conducted. One was non-bloom period and the second was bloom period, and the genes which were included in this was 16S ribosomal RNA, integron class 1, sulfonamide, tetracycline, quinolone, and beta-lactam. So these were selected to investigate their distribution in extracellular DNA and also in intracellular DNA in cyanobacteria. So the abundance of most target gene was significantly higher in extracellular DNA than in intracellular DNA. As you can see, these dark lines are more abundant than these light ones. So it is showing that extracellular DNA were most abundant in cyanobacteria than intracellular DNA. So we have one more figure, and this figure shows a relative abundance of antibiotic resistant genes in extracellular DNA, which is showing in figure A, and the second one is intracellular DNA for B of different cyanobacteria strain. So the length of these arrows in extracellular cellular DNA and intracellular DNA are indicating the absolute abundance of antibiotic resistant genes, and the angles, these angles of arrows indicating the relative abundance of antibiotic resistant genes in cyanobacteria strains. So the length of arrows are indicating absolute abundance, and the angle of arrows are indicating relative abundance of antibiotic resistant genes in cyanobacteria strain. So here is one more figure, and this figure is showing persistence of antibiotic resistant genes in extracellular DNA and intracellular DNA of cyanobacteria at different temperatures. As you can see, this figure is divided into two parts, into two temperatures. One is at 20 degrees centigrade and another one is at 30 degrees centigrade. These black graphs are showing extracellular DNA, and these light gray are showing intracellular DNA. While their variation are shown by these points, one is white, which is for extracellular DNA, and another one is black, which is showing for intracellular DNA. So antibiotic resistant genes abundance in intracellular DNA decreased at 7th week. As you can see that the persistence of intracellular DNA is decreasing at the 7th week, while the antibiotic resistant genes abundance in extracellular DNA is stable and fairly high. It is fairly stable and high. Now we can compare the both temperatures. So it is showing that abundance of extracellular DNA is lower at higher temperature, and there is a high variation also, but at lower temperature it is fairly stable. So it shows that persistence of extracellular DNA in cyanobacteria is lower at higher temperature, while the intracellular DNA at both temperatures showed no statistical variation. Okay, now comes toward the discussion. So the class 1 integron, which is encoding type 1 integrase enzyme, found to be ubiquitous in cyanobacteria and was detected with high numbers of gene copies in the study area. So the strategies used by bacteria for tetracycline resistance were antibiotic efflux pumps, ribosomal protection protein, inactivating enzymes, and mutation in 16S ribosomal RNA. So these four were the strategies which were used by bacteria for tetracycline resistance. While the sulfonamide resistant genes were quite more abundant than other antibiotic resistant genes. So the higher concentration of antibiotic resistant genes were detected in cyanobacteria sample during bloom period than in non-bloom period, and it is attributing the seasonal variation of antibiotic pollution in the overlying water and sediment. So the relatively high antibiotic concentration was reported in season, and it is related to the elevated surface runoffs into receiving rivers and lakes due to the strong precipitation and excessive use of veterinary antibiotics, which were used for promoting growth or preventing diseases. And the main veterinary antibiotics which were used were sulfonamide and tetracycline. So the rapid proliferation of cyanobacterial cells during the bloom period might promote the bacterial reproduction of antibiotic resistant genes, and this was through vertical transfer, and it potentially increased the density of mobile genetic elements such as plasmid and integron, which acted as an important media for horizontal transfer of antibiotic resistant genes. So results suggested that cyanobacterial associated extracellular DNA could be vital reservoir of antibiotic resistant genes, and it is because of exogenous microorganisms and extracellular DNA which are containing antibiotic resistant genes which are washed out from aquaculture farming, livestock and poultry breeding into water surfaces by rain runoff, and which might potentially increase the abundance of antibiotic resistant genes during bloom season. So, a lower persistence of antibiotic resistant genes was recorded at higher temperature in cyanobacterial extracellular DNA. As we have seen in the last figure of result, which was showing that extracellular DNA persistence was lower at high temperature, but it was quite stable at lower temperature. So it is more stable at lower temperature than at higher temperature. So the increased cyanobacterial recipient concentration promote the conjugative transfer of plasmid RP4. And the natural transfer frequency of plasmid from Escherichia coli to cyanobacteria found to be quite low in this study. So now we will conclude our topic. So the study confirmed that cyanobacteria serve as important reservoir for antibiotic resistant genes in aquatic environment, and its abundance were significantly higher in the bloom period than in the non-bloom period, and tetracycline and sulfonamide genes identified as dominant antibiotic resistant genes which were present in this study. And antibiotic resistant genes were higher in extracellular DNA than intracellular DNA from cyanobacteria. And cyanobacteria associated extracellular DNA carrying antibiotic resistant genes was more stable at lower temperature. And last, antibiotic-resistant genes in Microcystis and Staphylococcus were significantly higher than other cyanobacteria strains, which means the relative abundance of antibiotic-resistant genes in Microcystis and Staphylococcus, which are the dominant genera of cyanobacteria blooms in Taihu Lake, were significantly higher than those in other cyanobacteria strains. So these are some references from which this presentation topic and research topic has been prepared. Okay, I thank you all for listening and watching this presentation. And if you want to ask any question, you can ask me from my Gmail ID. Thank you once again for listening and watching this presentation.